This is just a sample of the training available at itdvds.com. To see complete training, please go to itdvds.com. Let's begin the sample. So before Windows Server 2008, we just had to set the password policy and the lockout policy at the domain, and then that applied to all the users in our domain. After Windows 2008, we had the ability to use fine-grained password policies where we could individually set the password policy for a user or a group, and then of course we could also set it at the domain as well. But setting that fine-grained password policy was a bit difficult. We had to use ADSI edit, and it was pretty cryptic. Now with Windows Server 2012, it's pretty easy. We can use the Active Directory Administrative Center, and we're going to go into, I'm in my domain here, we're going to go into System, scroll down a bit, and we've got our password settings container. I'm just going to right click on it, go to New Password Settings. And here it is. So now it's much easier to set our fine-grained password policy. I could give it a name. I'm going to call this one DBA policy because maybe I want my DBAs to have a stricter password policy. Precedence, this can be any value greater than 10. So basically the lower the value, the higher the precedence. And this has to do if we have multiple password policies applied to the same object, so like the same group. We need to know which password policy needs to take effect. Well, the lower the precedence number, that's the one that's going to take effect. So I'll set it at 15 here. Next, enforce minimum password length. Let's say I want that password length to be 15. Again, we're setting a more stricter policy for our DBAs. Enforce password history. Number of passwords remembered, 24, that's fine. That's quite a few. A password must meet complexity requirements. I could store a password using reversible encryption if I'd like. I can protect this password settings object from accidental deletion. Most likely we'll want to do that. Password age options, enforce minimum password age, enforce maximum password age, enforce account lockout policies. So number of failed lockout attempts. Let me just expand this out so we can read it all. And maybe I want to set this at 10. So basically the account will get locked out after 10 failed attempts and then reset it after, let's say, 15 minutes. So basically if we do 10 failed attempts within 15 minutes, it's going to lock the account out for a duration of 30 minutes. 30 minutes is fine. And down here I'm going to select the user or group that I'm going to apply this password settings object to. So I'll go ahead and click Add, and it's going to be global groups that we can apply this to, or users. So I've got a group called DBAs. There it is. Click OK. And click OK. And that's it. So now if we wanted to, we could drill in here. I'll just double click on it, right click on our policy, go to Properties, and see the details. So it's much easier than it used to be with Windows Server 2008 and Server 2008 R2.